Hello, welcome to a new video of this AWS DevOps project, and today we will be talking about how do we connect a domain to our infrastructure. So we have done a lot of things here already, auto scaling groups, launch templates, EC2s, listeners, ALBs and everything. Now we want to for the end users, for the internet, to not coming to our ALB URL, this one, because this is a bit hard. We want them to type a very basic domain, right? And to do that, we have multiple options. Here in the architecture, I am using Cloudflare, but I will be doing this domain thing in two parts. One will be with the Namecheap, and one will be with the Cloudflare. Then you will know both. Then we will configure an SSL on our ALB on the AWS by borrowing an SSL from either Cloudflare or the Namecheap. And when we do that, then our traffic will be encrypted. That means that our domain will be having an SSL certificate and it will be secure. So let's jump into our AWS and Namecheap and go step by step. So I already have a few domains in my Namecheap. You can see here. Let me go to the domain list, and you see that I have a lot of domains already bought here. So if you don't have any domain, go to namecheap.com, buy a domain, or go to Cloudflare, make an account, and come here and add a site, and then register a new domain. These are the two methods, right, where you can buy domain names. This is easy, this is very straightforward. I will not go into details. So I already have a domain here that I want to link to the ALB, this domain, right? So that when I type this domain name in the one that I have already in Namecheap, I should be forwarded to my ALB here, but the domain will change. This will not be the one that I'll be seeing. I'll be seeing this domain, the averygroup.xyz. So this is the whole phenomena. So let's go, and I have already done that, right? So if you go to manage, your name servers should be Namecheap basic DNS, and then you should go to advanced DNS, and you should add two records. So I have added two records. They are both CNAME records, right? Add new record at the rate, host will be at the rate, and www, and then you should put the value without anything, without HTTP or anything, this load balancer URL that you are having, this one, right? Then when you browse this domain, for example here, let me copy it and paste it here, it will bring you to the load balancer URL, and then the load balancer will pass the traffic to the EC2 through target groups, and you will see the app that we are hosting here. So now the domain has become averygroup.xyz, and then if you go to the load balancer URL, you are still seeing the same app. So that means that now our domain averygroup.xyz is forwarding traffic to the load balancer this URL, and then the load balancer does what? It passes the traffic to the target group on port 80, and the target group has a target. Let me show you. The target group has, if you click it, it has a target called our instance. See, this is the instance 344, and it's healthy and it's open on port 80, and it's serving the Node.js application. This is the instance that we are talking about under instances 344. One way is this way, right? So we are passing the traffic from the domain to the ALB, and from the ALB to the target group, and the target group to the instances, right? Another way is that if you want to directly target this machine, you should go first. For example, this instance, you should go first to the security and see if you have the port 80 open here, right? But this port 80 is open to the security group, this one, and this security group I'm sure belongs to the ALB. So you need to open this port to anywhere on the internet, right? To anyone. So it should be a 0.0.0.0 something, and this is a bad practice anyway, right? Linking your domain directly to the machine. So I'm just telling you, a lot of people do this, and this is a bad practice, right? So you can go to the machine and then click on details, copy this domain and come to the AWS and put here an A record. This will be an A record, and then you can put the same, like for example host will be at the rate, and then you can paste the IP here and then click save. But this is a bad practice. You shouldn't expose your instance or your machine directly to the public, because then people can do a lot of stuff. While doing so through the ALB, you can do a lot of stuff on the ALB, on the load balancer. You can protect it from the bad traffic. You can scan the traffic. You could implement the AWS native web firewall. There are a lot of options in the ALB already, so you should always do this, right? So this was the one way that I wanted to show you to how to forward the traffic from a domain to the ALB and then to the instance. Now we will do one more thing, and that will be to do it through the Cloudflare way. How do we do it in Cloudflare, and how do we make a certificate or SSL certificate in Cloudflare and then implement that certificate in our load balancer, and I will show you how we will do that, right? So now we should do one thing. We should not browse our application through the ALB URL. We should close this, and we should always focus on this one domain. This is of interest to us. If you refresh it, there is our application. And now what we want to do is that the domain is here in Namecheap. How do we connect it to the Cloudflare? It's easy. You first need to go to the Cloudflare. Let me go to the Cloudflare, right? To the websites. I already have a domain here, so I should add a domain, add a site. So we should come here and then type our domain name here. So for example, what was the domain? Let's see, Namecheap. Copy this domain, bring it here. Okay, so everygroup.xyz, continue. We are actually connecting this domain from Namecheap to the Cloudflare websites. You should have a Cloudflare account already, and now it says that you need to do one thing. So this, I think one step is missed here, and that was the plans or the pricing. You should always choose the free one. Now you can do one thing here, is that our domain is here, so you should copy this name servers, copy, bring it to the Namecheap, and go to this domain, under domain, and you should then choose the name servers. Oh, sorry, the name servers should be custom DNS, right? Bring one name server here, then go again to the Cloudflare, copy it, bring one name server here, right? And save it. Now it's saved, right? Now you should go to Cloudflare and verify that. Check name servers now. Cloudflare is now checking the name servers for this domain. Please wait a few hours for an update. I will pause the video and see if this start working or is verified, and then I'll come back and show you the next steps, how to link, how to pass the traffic from this domain to your application, which is right now this was through the Namecheap way, but now we have changed the name servers to custom to this one, right? These are from the Cloudflare. Now we should wait for the verification from Cloudflare. Once that's done, then we will go to the this website DNS and put the CNAME again there, right? for our ALB. Then it will start working. But until this verification is done, please wait. So now I think our domain is linked to Cloudflare, and it says that great news, Cloudflare is now protecting your site. And that is because if you go to domain list and come to the every group XYZ manage, you have changed the name servers to the Cloudflare name servers. And now, as I told you how to do that, you should link your name servers of Cloudflare to the domain. It's now verified and we can do our stuff here. So the first thing that we did was to create our in the Namecheap, we went to the advanced DNS and put our ALB URL in the DNS, but now it's off because our name servers are controlled by Cloudflare. We should go to the Cloudflare under DNS, and we should so that DNS we put in the Namecheap is also brought here to the Cloudflare. See, now this CNAME, the CNAME is also here, and it's going to the same ALB URL. If you see here, see, this is the same ALB URL, and we should put @ here and save it, and it will become @ means without anything like in the front www or anything. So @ means like the domain name. We can also put another CNAME, for example CNAME, and then www, and let me copy this ALB URL, copy it and put it here as well. We should cancel this one. This one is also this one is fine. Now the ALB URL is here, and we should put www here, right? I hope you got what I want to do here. Let's save it. So we have modified the previous one. I guess we deleted the one. Yes, no, we are missing one CNAME with the this ALB URL for @. So we should add this, add record CNAME @, and then paste the ALB URL here, right? And this will add another CNAME record. So we have two CNAME records, one for www and one for @, and this domain name means @ sign right here. So now we are forwarding traffic again from everygroup.xyz to our ALB through these CNAME records. So what will happen here is that whenever we try to reach this domain, this will be the traffic will pass through to this ALB URL, which is the URL of this load balancer in our AWS. So let's try that and hope this works, because sometimes it takes time in the propagation. Let's see. We should go to this URL and we should refresh it, and it's working, but I guess it's cached. So let's do like this. Close this and go to new incognito window and copy it here, and let's see if it works. Yes, it's working. That means this domain traffic is being passed to the Cloudflare here, and the Cloudflare is managing the DNS now and passing the traffic to our ALB, and the ALB then passes the traffic to the target group, and the target group then passes the traffic to its targets, which are the instances right here. Now we need to have some sort of mechanism so that when we type here like this, it does not say not secure. See, it's right now it's saying not secure, which is bad for application dignity. People don't like unsecure sites. So what you will do is that you could, I mean, the SSL certificate could be possible through here, SSL certificate and Namecheap, but I will show you an easy way how to do that. In Cloudflare, when you go to SSL, you could do like this. Right now, there is an SSL encryption going on from your browser to the Cloudflare, meaning if I type here like this, see, it should work like this. Let's see if it works. No, it's not working because because it is not working because the traffic from 443 is not handled on our server, right? Our server does not. Our server means the instance that we are having here. It does not have an SSL certificate, right? And that's why it's not passing the traffic to that port. Let me do one thing. Go to incognito window and do it here. Yes, it will not work because we don't have an SSL certificate right now. We can do one thing. The thing is that it should work like this, but the problem is that our load balancer is not listening on 443. See here, our load balancer, go to load balancer, and this is the listeners. These are the listeners. We are only listening on port 80, and now Cloudflare is throwing traffic on 443, which is not listened here. In load balancer, we should create a listener that should listen to 443 traffic as well. But for 443, we need a certificate, SSL certificate. We can do that easily in Cloudflare. You can go and and do like this. Let me see if I can go to DNS, sorry, overview, and then let's configure caching. Let's clear our cache in our Cloudflare and see how it behaves. We should confirm that HTTPS is not working. No, it's not working. So what we can do is that go to Cloudflare, go to SSL, go to origin server, right, this one, and create a certificate here. Create a certificate, and we are creating certificates for every group.xyz and anything before it. So www, any subdomain, right? And it should be for 15 years. Create. Now you should do two things. One is the certificate file itself, one is the private key. You can go to your load balancer here and create a listener. Add a listener, and it should be an HTTPS listener with 443. Now it says that forward to target groups. That is fine. Which target group? To this one, 80. Target group 80, which we created in the previous video. Then we can go to the security policy. This one is by default recommended. Now you should import from Amazon Certificate Manager or from IAM or import certificate. I will choose this. Now here is the part that we need to put the private key here and the certificate body here. So if you go to the Cloudflare, this is the private key, this one. We should copy it here. Go to AWS private key, put it here, and be careful. This blinking cursor you seeing, you should go one step above, because that is another space adding to this key, and this will not work. Right now, come here to certificate body. You should go to Cloudflare again, copy the origin certificate and bring it to the certificate body, put it here, and do the same with this cursor, backspace. Right now this is done. Let's see. Now what we are doing here is that we are creating a listener 443. That means that the Cloudflare when forwards the HTTPS traffic to the ALB, the ALB should be able to handle the HTTPS traffic. HTTPS meaning 443 traffic, which currently it doesn't. So that's why we are creating this listener. Right? Now go add it. Now we have one listener on port 80, which was already and working fine without HTTPS. Now one is on 443, right? And the 443 wasn't listened before, right? So we created that. Now what we are doing is that when the Cloudflare sends the traffic, we should save this, okay? When the Cloudflare sends the traffic through HTTPS, it should be origin server is our instance, but before that we have ALB here, ALB and listener and everything. So that ALB should be able to handle this traffic, right? And now we should turn this to full encrypt, right? Because now our ALB handles the traffic. So if we full it, right? This setting was last changed a few seconds ago, right? Full it, and now go to overview and go to configure caching and purge everything, meaning clear the Cloudflare cache, right? So the cache is cleared and our SSL is now full. So now when we go with HTTPS with this domain, it should come here and then forward this traffic, the HTTPS, the encrypted traffic to the origin server, and the communication between all these two parts will be encrypted. Nobody can read it or understand it, what's happening between these resources. So now let's wait for 30 seconds and then we can go and browse this URL with HTTPS and it will start working. Let me try it once. It says privacy error. Why? Let's see what is happening. HTTPS. Okay. Fully strict now. Full. Okay, so now what I am suspecting is that when we go from the browser through Cloudflare and then through the to the instance through ALB, the ALB is trying to pass this traffic on port 80, right? On the listener port 80. See this, we have a port 80 and port 443. We should do like this. We should not leave traffic on port 80. We should always use the 443, right? So we should remove this. Let's see. Manage listener, delete listener, confirm. Delete it. Okay. So this listener, the port 80 listener is no more. Only we have 443 listener and it's passing the traffic to target group 80, and we have in target group 80 we have let's see, only one instance on running on port 80, which is running fine, right? So let's see, targets, and this is running fine. Load balancer is listening to port 443. Now we should try that again, the URL that we tried before, this one, refresh, copy it and close this and go to another tab, copy it here. It should now start working. It still says privacy error, and I think there's again a problem with this. Let's see. What could be the problem? Let's find the problem. I suspect one more thing. I think because now we have tied a domain, let's go to our EC2 instance here and check our Nginx if that is configured correctly. copy it. Let's close this one, open another putty, and SSH credentials, go to AWS DevOps project, open it. Or maybe our IP has changed. Let's go close this and go to security of this instance. Where is the this to let's go to our security group. This is EC2 SG security group. Make edit inbound rules and port 8 my IP. Yes, my IP was changed, so save it. Now you can go to putty, paste the IP, SSH into it using the credentials. AWS DevOps project, open it, accept, go Ubuntu. Somebody told me that on the YouTube that your command line is very small. I don't know how to increase the size of this text. I searched for it a few times, but I found nothing. Sudo su I think we have everything on the root. ls, yes, list. Okay. Now go to cd etc nginx sites enabled, and okay, ls default sudo vim default, and see what we are having. I think we are not giving it any server name here. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe that is the problem. Let's see, and we should copy the server name like this. Let me do something like this. Server name, copy like this. Without anything in start, server underscore name, and we should not give this risk online. We should give it every group dot xyz, and now you should escape, double dot here, double dot wq, and exit it, and now restart the Nginx. Let's see, sudo systemctl restart Nginx. We restarted it. Now let's go to the domain again and copy it and paste it here. Nope, it's not working. It still says HTTPS error. Okay, so after a little bit of struggle I managed to connection is secure, but I will repeat this process again so that everybody know. Let's go to the origin server, revoke this current certificate that we are having, go to the target group which we created for target group 80. Go to the target groups, leave the target group here, go to load balancer, click on the load balancer listener, and let's remove this current listener. Okay, before removing it, let's remove the certificate as well that we previously imported, because I want to demo it in a clear way to everyone. Confirm, remove it. Okay, now go to the load balancer and listener and remove this listener. Delete listener, confirm, delete. Okay, so currently we have a load balancer, but we are not listening to any traffic here, right? And in the cloud on the Cloudflare, what we are doing is that we are coming to SSL. So we are encrypting the traffic from this browser to the Cloudflare, and then from the Cloudflare to the origin server. Our origin server is this EC2, this one, okay, this which is running this one, and this EC2 is behind the load balancer, this one, right? And this load balancer has no listener now, so that means the traffic coming from the Cloudflare to our origin server is broken between. We have a load balancer, but we don't have a listener here, and the listener is a part of the load balancer. So now we should create a listener that should understand the SSL traffic, right? The SSL traffic. For this, we need to generate an SSL traffic on the Cloudflare here by going to origin server, create a certificate, and this for this domain everygroup.xyz, create. When this certificate is created, it has two parts. One is the key and one is the origin certificate, right? So go to the load balancer. Here in the listener, we need to add a listener, right? And the listener should be listening on port HTTPS 443. For this, we need to have for this listener, we are attaching our target group, which is the target group 80. Now here the port does not matter, right? Here when the when the traffic is already on the load balancer and the load balancer listening that traffic on 443, it does not matter which port, which target group that traffic is passed through. So it is passed to port 80, which the normal public does not see. The normal public is only seeing the traffic until this listener. When this listener listens on port 443, it then passes that traffic to port 80 of the target group, right? And the target group has the instance already, which is then the traffic is passed to the instance. So it does not matter if the target group is listening on port 80 or not, right? So the port 80, the port 80 is not like mandatory yet that it should be port 80. It could be port 443, but for our purpose, port 80 works here, right? So now we will choose port 80 here and then go to import certificate. Here we will first copy the private key from here, the origin server. This is the private key, this one, right? You should you should click here, control all, and see that you have copied everything. Control C and bring it to the listener. This is the private key, okay? And previously I thought I told you to backspace this cursor, which I think made the problem, right? I shouldn't do that, right? And now you go to the Cloudflare again, copy this, see if everything is copied. Control all, copy, and bring it back to the certificate body, and we should confirm this is origin certificate, and we should bring it to certificate body and paste it. That's it. Now now what we have done is that we have created a listener with certificate, add it. Let's see. Now we have a listener which is listening on 443. That means the SSL traffic, and then it passing that traffic to target group 80. And the target group 80, when we click on it, it opens up that target group, and that target group has a target, which is this instance, and this instance is listening on port 80. Remember that. So it does not matter if the traffic is coming on the ALB through 443 and then is passed to the instance on port 80. This is hidden from the world, so it does not matter, right? Now let's see our load balancer is working or not. So the listener is 443 and target group 80, and now we should go and copy this. Oh, and we should OK this certificate so that it's hosted here now. It's working, and let's see, copy this domain, paste it here without HTTPS, and see what how does it behave? Okay, so it's now automatically redirected to HTTPS. See, this is HTTPS now, and if you click on the URL, these gear icons, it says connection is secure, and connection is secure. That means certificate is valid, right? And that's the whole phenomena, how to host your application with a secure SSL certificate. I think this process is a bit tedious and a bit complicated, especially with the propagation things and the waiting things and the testing things. But this is how the SSL certificate is handled through Cloudflare, and this is how we attach our domain to the Cloudflare like this. We have attached this domain by going to the domain provider where we have the domain, and then going to the name servers and changing the name servers there. And then when that domain is linked to the Cloudflare, we then went to the SSL certificate section, created our origin certificate here, this one, and then imported this certificate in our load balancers listener by creating another listener. Previously we had a listener port 80 which should be removed, and then we created a 443 a listener with HTTPS traffic and put the private key and the certificate key in the concerned sections, and then save that listener, and that listener now forwards this traffic to the target group of port 80, and the target group that is currently having targets which is only one instance is listening on port 80. So all this started working. And if you go to the to the architecture, so the internet is coming to Cloudflare, which is the everygroup.xyz. The Cloudflare has an SSL certificate that is generated and hosted, and that certificate is hosted on AWS ALB, and ALB has a listener 443. So the traffic has come here, and now it's passing to the targets. In this architecture, we have 4 targets. And currently, in our live example, we have only one, so the traffic is passed to the EC2, right? So that's the whole procedure. You should also be careful about the security groups here. So we have security groups here, and this security we have 2 security groups here. One is for the EC2 instance. If you come here, I have, beside these 8080 and 8081 IPs, these bigger ports, these 2 are our main concerns. So this one is for the SSH that I'm going to the instance itself, and this is for the port 80, and the port 80 traffic is only allowed from the ALB, the one that we are listening the traffic on. And then we have another security group that is for the ALB itself, the load balancer, which is listening on port 80 and port 443. But port 80 should be now removed because we are not listening on port 80 anyway. Alright, edit inbound rules, and the port 80 should be deleted. We are only listening on port 443. Save rule. Now go to the domain. See, our domain is secure, right? But if we remove the HTTPS, nothing will happen, and it will break. Nothing will happen. See, we are not listening on port 80 anymore, right? Nothing will happen. We will only listen on port 443, which is HTTPS. Yes, it's working fine. So that's a bit of a longer video because there were too many things I wanted to show. I hope you like this video. In the next video, we will be spinning up more servers through auto scaling group. Like for example, now we are only having 1 server. So what about if we have 3 servers? Then we will be deploying our code. This code, we will changing this code. We will be seeing which server is passing the traffic to, and then we will be changing some code, and then pushing that code to all these servers. So maybe there will be 3 or 4 servers running under the running beside the ALB. Then if we change some code in our source code, how is gonna that code be deployed to all these servers at once, right? So I'll be showing that in the next video. For time being, thank you very much. I hope you liked this video, and if you liked it, please comment and subscribe to my channel, and please share this video with your friends and colleagues. Thank you so much, and see you in the next video. Bye.